I'd like to get myself out of the way and bring to the call co-founder, Mr. Michael Cupisz. Michael, thank you for your time. This is the #1 team in ACN. We're going to be bringing 20,000 reps a month. Zoom's all yours, brother.
All right, thanks. Well, first of all, a lot of Michaels on this call. We got Michael Eric, he just did the comp plan. Michael Mays, who just introduced Michael Cupisz. A lot of Michaels. But listen, thanks for having me, really. I appreciate it. You guys are doing such a great job, and it's really an honor for me to be speaking to all of you guys. You know, I was listening to not all of you, but I was able to listen to some of you, and you know, you guys are on the right path. And there's a lot of people on this Zoom right now, and I want to just congratulate all of you for being on this Zoom, because you know, it's a commitment, and a lot of people could be out doing something else right now, but the fact that you chose to be here, in my opinion, separates you from the pack. You know, there's a lot of people that can always find a reason why not to do something, but those people that find a reason why they should do something, those are the ones that always move ahead. And, you know, all of us want a better life for ourselves. I believe that. And I believe most of us, you know, are always looking for another opportunity or another way that they could better their life financially, because we know that even though money is not the most important thing in the world, it certainly helps. And if people could become financially free, it really gives them a lot of freedom to do things in their life that are very important to them. And the fact that you're a part of this Zoom says a lot about all of you. And look, I want to just say, our business is a business that anyone can learn. And I know it's intimidating for some people. You know, they get involved in something like this, they start digging into the products, or they start digging into some of the steps that you learn at Rockstar about how to build your business. And, you know, it could be a little overwhelming in the very beginning. And I'll tell you guys, don't let that bother you. It doesn't make a difference what you do in life. There's always going to be a learning curve, and you just got to put in the time. And I always tell people that the ones that do the best are the ones that are just going to dive in. I'll give you an example. Imagine you had Mike and Patrick Mazer sitting at the beach, and you wanted to teach them how to swim. And, you know, Mike jumped right in. I mean, he was splashing around saying, "Come in, teach me." And Patrick was on the sidelines on the beach with a pad of paper and a pencil saying, "I'm not going to jump in until I understand this, till it makes sense right here. When it makes sense here, then I'll get in the water." Who would you rather work with? Just think about that for a minute. You'd want to work with Mike, because he's willing to jump in. He's easier to help and teach and get him to learn, because he's willing to do it. He's willing to take action. And a lot of people don't even know, when you look at yourself in this business, who are you? Are you always the one sitting on the sidelines with a pad of paper, you know, trying to figure everything out? I'm not going to talk to somebody about impact until I understand every nuance of this business. I'm not going to talk to somebody about Zoom Energy till I understand the entire. And what you do is you overwhelm yourself, thinking that you have to fill yourself with knowledge, when all you really have to do is jump into the water of ACN. Just jump in. You know when you're going to be most excited? When you're actually doing the business, not thinking about it. I compare it to me, for example, flying to Australia. I used to fly to Australia 3-4 times a year, and everyone would say, "How long does it take to get there from Detroit?" Well, from my front door to my home to the front door of the hotel is about 24 hours on average. And people say, "Oh my God, that sounds painful." Well, let me tell you something. Every time I thought about doing it, it was painful. When I started thinking about the travel, I was thinking that's painful. But when I was actually doing it, it wasn't painful. I see MD nodding his head, because him and I went there quite a bit together. It wasn't painful. You know, you go to the airport, you hop in a sedan, you get to the airport, have a champagne, you jump on the airplane, you lay over a couple hours in, LA, you look around, do a little shopping. Next thing you know, you're on a plane. And you go to sleep at some point on the plane. You try to sleep as long as you can. You watch a few movies. Now you land. You get in a taxi. You're at your location. It's not painful. It's kind of fun. It's exciting. It's a process. And I always say, when you're in the process of doing something, it's completely different than thinking about doing it. And what I find that hurts a lot of people in not just ACN in our business, but really people that want to go be self-employed in any business. They're the ones that they think too much about what they need to do or what they need to know, and they fail to do the most important thing, which is just dive in, take action. When you are in motion, I'm telling you, you get excited. There's a cliche called motion creates emotion. And when you're excited, okay, when you have that feeling that things are happening, you have a different energy about you, and it's a law of attraction. But you're not going to have that feeling just sitting down trying to figure everything out. One thing I remember, and I learned this from one of my mentors, this is way back before ACM, and I was only 24 years old, and I was asking a lot of questions. And I remember one of my mentors said, well, wait, listen. He says, what do you, I remember how they said it, what do you think you need to know to do this business? And I remember I was saying, I don't know this, I don't know that. He goes, but how do you know what you need to know? He says, why don't you just go out there? He goes, you're going to find that people are going to start asking you questions. Just research the questions. And you're going to find that most people will ask you the same 10 questions. And, you know, every now and then a new one might pop in. So what? What's the first thing you do when you are asked a question you can't answer? You say, you know what? I don't know that answer. I'll get the information and I'll get back to you. And you know what? You research it. Now you know it. And guess what? From this point on, every time somebody asks you that question, you spew out the answer. People are going to think you are a genius, but maybe all you did was research the top 10 questions. But you're going to find in this business, that's what diving in gives you. It gives you experience. Experience is where you really learn. It's not just sitting back trying to figure everything out and creating an insecurity, because that's what people do. The ones that overthink create an insecurity. They start thinking they can't do something. And believe me, we're all guilty of it, including me. So I know this feeling. But when you're out there doing it, you know what's most exciting about getting a customer? When you're actually picking up the phone, calling someone, or messaging somebody on WhatsApp, or sending somebody a text message, or talking to them. Maybe they're over at your house and they're just hanging out for the summer. You're having a beer and you say, let me tell you about something. When you're in the motion of doing it, you're going to find that it's pretty exciting. It's pretty simple. You're enthusiastic. You got a lot of energy. Now, one thing that will set you free, and this is so important, one thing will set you free in our business is you really have to have the attitude that you simply do not care whether somebody says yes or no. Just think about what I'm saying. The people that are not free mentally are the ones that feel that somehow, some way, that their words have to create a yes. And if they don't get a yes, they feel like a failure. Understand one thing about this business, guys. There's nothing you can say. There's nothing you can do. If you talk to somebody at the wrong time, they're not going to say yes to your opportunity. If you talk to somebody at the wrong time, they're not going to say yes to being a customer. But if you talk to somebody at the right time, or a partially right time, it might go from a maybe to a yes. So just remember, set yourself free. Don't be hung up on the yes. Don't be hung up on the no. Don't be hung up on the maybe. Just stay in process. Dive in, keep moving, keep calling people, keep texting people, keep WhatsApping people, schedule people for those Zooms, and don't be afraid to go out and present the opportunity. Don't be afraid to, present the product the best you know. And guess what? You're going to screw up. You're going to say the wrong thing. You're going to make mistakes. So what? That you're going to learn. All of a sudden, 6 months from now, you're going to look back and you're going to say, I can't believe how much I know. You're going to know. You just say, I can't believe how much I know. And you're not even going to remember studying anything. Because you dove in, that's why you're going to be that leader in this business. So that's my recommendation. I'll say something else here, and this will be the last thing I talk about. It's belief. Look, one of the things I remember, and I bet you just some of you, just talking to some of you, I bet you a lot of you went through this as well. Hang on, I want to see all your faces here. I'm going to open up my screen if I can. Okay, so I'm going to say something to you guys that I think makes a huge difference. I remember when I got into network marketing and I was in my very first company, I was so excited, but as excited as I was, as I started dreaming, I also started thinking in my mind, what if this doesn't work? And I remember getting paid for the very first time. And it wasn't a lot of money. It was ridiculously small. It was probably under $30, but I remember getting paid the very first time for something that I did. And I remember that feeling. The feeling I had was that my belief skyrocketed. And what I was saying to myself, just because I saw the payment come in, what I was saying to myself was, wow, this really works. One of the things I realized early on is that when my belief went up, so did my activity. So did my energy. So did my excitement. I just did more. I became more because my belief was going up. I was a different person. So early on, my goal was to get as many people to raise their belief as I possibly could. So one way is getting people results. So help people get their first customer, help people enroll their first IBO, help somebody, get their first IBO qualified, help somebody, earn their first cab bonus or a fast start bonus. When somebody gets a result, their belief's going to go up. Another way you can get their belief to go up, which I think is probably the greatest tool we have at ACN, is our Elevate events. We've been doing Elevate events. We've called them different things over the years, but we've been doing Elevate events for 31 years. And that's where we bring all of our people together at a convention. Sometimes we do it 3 times a year. Sometimes we do it 2 times a year. There's been many years we did it 4 times a year. But all the teams come to this Elevate event. And it's for the number one reason that when they get to see ACN, the company, the owners, showcase the business, okay, that in itself is fantastic, because as owners, we get to interact with a lot of the leaders. There's people on your teams that I'll be shaking their hand. Greg Provenzano will be having dinner with someone. We'll be coming to your events. Robert Stefanowski will be answering questions. How many companies are there out there where the owners will actually pull up their sleeves and go out there and work with everyone? See, we are in the prime of our life when it comes to this business, and we are hands-on owners. We're different than a lot of direct sales companies. We believe in working in the business. We believe in working on the business. We believe in working with the people, but we are hands-on owners. So giving us a chance to showcase ACN is massive. But on top of us being able to showcase the company, we also get a chance to highlight all of our partners. As a matter of fact, we've got 3 partners going to be presenting in Cleveland. We've got Zoom. Their team will be on stage. We've got Vivint, and we also have Impact. That means these are the people that run these companies, guys. They're going to be on stage. They're going to be sharing information with the people that you invite there. And I'm telling you, there's going to be some exciting announcements. As a matter of fact, we're going to have some announcements that are going to be specifically related to Impact. And we're also going to have some announcements specifically related to Flash Mobile that we're saving for the event. And we're going to allow the management, the people that are running those companies, give that information to everyone. These are the people that understand it, know it the most, and they can break it down and show the value in it in a way that none of us could do. That's why you want your people there, because they're going to be sitting back, they're going to be listening to this information, and they're going to be going, oh my gosh, I cannot believe it. And 2 thoughts are going to come in their mind. Either one, I am so happy I've got my entire team here listening to this information right now. This is a game changer. Or you're going to be sitting there thinking, oh my gosh, why didn't I get more people here? Why didn't I make a few more phone calls? Oh, I'm thinking of this person and that person and this person. And you know what? Between now and Cleveland, you have plenty of time to communicate the importance of going to this event. We've also got some of the best trainers, just to name a few. You guys obviously got the best uplines. We've got Mike Mazer going to be on stage. We've got Jeff and Melissa. We've got James Adlam, Aaron Burt, Presley Swaggerty, Matthew Malamontaine, and that's just to name a few. But we got our top people. They're going to be on stage teaching and training and presenting and explaining this business, so it will enlighten everybody that's going to be sitting there. We're also going to have special breakout sessions, and there's all going to be all kinds of things that are going to take place there. But here's some of the reasons that I personally believe people's belief go up. I've heard people walk in the back door of our Elevate events. They just walk in the back door. They look around the room. They see all the people. They see the stage. I've heard people walk in the back of the room and say, you know what? I don't need to see another thing. I can leave here right now. Just by them walking in, seeing the thousands of people that come all from North America to come to this event, that completely opens up their mind. They cannot believe how big this thing actually is. That's an impact for people. Also, when people listen to the trainings, they have aha moments. I mean, think about tonight. I don't know how long this entire training is going to be, but think about how much time all of us really dedicate ourselves to, time-wise to training. Where when they go to an Elevate event, we've got people for a couple days, guys. They're 100% committed to learning for a couple of days. How long would it take to get all that information to people if they're only attending one training call a week for 30 minutes? Now we've got them for 2 days. I am telling you, from a training perspective, I know that people that don't go to these events are left behind, because the ones that do go, they're the ones that come back and they're the ones that perform, because now they've been trained at a whole nother level. But there's also other things that happen at the events. you sit through these stories and you're listening to testimonials from people that are just like you connect, you relate to them, and they're talking about where they were and, they've been in the business, they tell you all their steps, and now they're walking the stage as a regional vice president. And when you hear some of these success stories, it moves people. I mean, literally, it moves people. There was a guy, I'll never forget this. There was one guy on stage who talked about his road trip to RVP. And there was somebody that I worked with in ACN. And they were here in the United States. I worked with them, and they were never motivated. They always showed up. They never took action. They went to one convention, and because the person that I'm talking about he was kind of like a surfer dude. He had long hair. He always wore, shorts. But the person on the stage that hit the RVP position was exactly like him. He was a surfer dude that hit RVP. And I'll never forget how it transformed. What happened is, just by listening to one testimonial, by the way this person connected with that one person, they ended up becoming a regional vice president within that year. And we couldn't get this person to do anything prior to that. And it was one inspirational story changed one person's trajectory, and it changed their whole business forever. These are the things that take place. So these inspirational stories, the training, the showcasing of ACN, the vision of the entire company, and I would say the most important thing is the recognition that we give. Guys, we always find a way, one way or another, we find a way to recognize almost 40% of the room. There are people that get recognized that have never been recognized in their careers before, and they get recognized. And for some people, getting recognized one time some of you don't realize how important recognition is to some people. People need acknowledgement. They need to be recognized for their efforts. And sometimes just a little bit of recognition will alter someone's commitment to a business, because if we appreciate them, they appreciate us. If we show them respect and we show them that we see what they're doing, and we build them up in front of their peers because of their accomplishments, they will go out and work 10 times harder because they want to now get to the next level. They love recognition. It's important for them to be acknowledged. And that's something we work out in all of our Elevate events. So I'm telling you this because, and I heard some of you already talking about it, which I'm glad to hear, but from now till Cleveland, guys, do not make the mistake and be lackadaisical about this. Guys, get as many people there as you possibly can. To me, it's going to be a game changer. It's going to alter your business. And only those that promote it, only those that really experience it will fully understand what I'm talking about. But it's something that we have as a tool. I don't know when the next one will be. We'll announce it in Cleveland. But obviously, you don't want to miss out. You want to make sure you get as many people there as you possibly can. So look, with that being said, guys, I want to thank Mike Meza for inviting me to be a part of this. All of you guys that made the commitment to being on this Zoom. I'm really impressed, and it really separates you from the pack. Keep doing what you're doing, guys, and I'll see all of you guys in Cleveland. So take care, everyone.
Thank you, Mr. Cupisz. Let's give Michael Cupisz a hand. Michael, I appreciate your wisdom, appreciate your leadership, and just continue to being hands-on, which is very rare with any business. Appreciate you guys, and we're bringing an army to Cleveland, so thank you for that. Let's give Mike one more hand. Rockstar, we'll thank you with production.